So today, guys, I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about Firecrest, or the new Ortiz set that is coming in season 2. Now, I've gotten questions saying, yo, skills, is it good? Is it bad? I don't think it's something I would use because I just don't think it's powerful enough. And I tell you, this set is probably going to be one of the best crowd control sets in the game. Now, by now, most of you guys have played Division for a while, or if you're new, you know there are spawn locations. But in certain control points, certain locations, there are more than one. What's crazy about this set is it does a full 360. So if they come out a door on the right of you or a door on the left of you, they will always catch on fire. Now that's all due to also using the backpack and seeing how far this turret's range is. Just look at that. Look at the range on this turret. It's absolutely insane how far this thing goes. And that's because the backpack does extend the range of the fire turret on this build. Now, if we look at a regular Eclipse build with a flame turret, just look at this turret. It goes from left to right, and then sometimes enemies come on the far right and they just run right by it and it doesn't catch them on fire. But with this set, look at this. Look at the radius of it. And that's why I think people don't really appreciate how strong this is gonna be. There's guys way to the left. There's guys way to the right. The 360 is so fast that it's going to catch everything on fire. You don't need an Eclipse set to spread the fire on kill because they're always going to be on fire. Now, I just can't see myself ever using the regular fire turret when I have this set right here. It's really the range of the flame, right? Like it's gonna, anything that can catch on fire will catch on fire in a 360 vicinity. So enemies that you think are too far will stay on fire, right? I have nothing spreading the fire and these guys are pretty far. And placement of this turret is key because if you can place it in the perfect location, it's going to keep enemies from pushing your team. It's going to keep enemies from being able to put out damage, and it's just going to be very effective. Now, I'll tell you, I honestly really enjoyed this build, and I know some people didn't enjoy it, some people liked it, but I guess we'll see once season 2 comes out and more players get this in their hand. I just feel being able to control the battlefield like this, keeping people on fire, it's going to be fun. And now don't get me wrong, there is a very long cooldown time on this turret if you put no skill haste on your build or you don't stack any skill haste, and that becomes very problematic because this build is all about keeping the turret up, right? But as you guys were seeing here, I literally, it went down, I had it right back, right? And you wouldn't think that I have a 50-second cooldown timer on that turret, because what that do? Take me a second. I literally had it instantly. So there are some ways to spec builds out, which I was able to do, and I figured out which would work best because I enjoy kind of builds like this. And having a long cooldown timer on a turret that's supposed to be my primary damage source or my primary control the battlefield skill, like I need it up. But with the Caesar's Guard chest piece, I was able to do that because of the talent perfectly skilled that comes on the Caesar's Guard chest piece. Perfectly skilled skills have a 30% chance to refresh your skill cooldown. And since you're going to get kills with your fire turret, you're always going to have that. Now, don't get me wrong, I did try other builds. I tried the same gear set with the BTS U glove. So in case the turret went down, I could break my hive and then it would automatically proc my thing. But I noticed even then I was having issues with the skills going on cooldown for too long. So even when I would refresh it, the next time I need to refresh it, it would still just be too fast. Now, I will say the backpack, no matter the way you run it, I felt was very essential to the build just because of the extra 25% you get on the range. I honestly love the range of this turret and how it could just hit enemies no matter where they were. And that's all because of the way the backpack talent for this set works. Remember, not only do you get 25% increase weapon damage, right, to enemies that are burnt, that are on fire because of the turret, you also get 25% increased turret range, which is a big difference. Now, one thing you should remember is the turret does aim down and up. It doesn't have that auto lock, but if you set it up right, like I set it up right here, I have a couple enemies underneath me. The turret will start to spin at an angle downwards so they don't have to be on the same exact level. Now, sometimes I felt like if the enemy was too high of a level up or too down low, sometimes it wouldn't get them. but then others it didn't have an issue. So I just don't know. Like this one, that's a pretty steep angle, and the turret was able to get everybody underneath them. So I honestly, I just don't know what the angle has to be for them to catch on fire. But typically, if you place your turret right, anything in the 360 vicinity of you, whether they were below you or above you, would catch on fire. Even that, look at that guy way over there. And I'm not running an Eclipse, and you see how the fire goes to him. But the biggest downfall to this set really is the long cooldown time on the turret. And I feel if you don't run some type of skill, or you run some type of gear piece that's going to help you refresh that skill, you're just going to be hurting yourself and just be too long out of the battle. Because even if you were to run skill haste mods on everything, you would go from 50 seconds to almost 30 to 35 seconds, which is still a long cooldown time. Now, if you had the BTSU gloves, you could explode your hive, and what would your hive do? It would automatically overcharge everything, refreshing your skill, right? But again, sometimes the skill would refresh. Sometimes I would have to wait a little bit more because I had just used it. Now, with the Caesar's Guard, as you're seeing in this gameplay, it's all about getting kills. And the more skill kills you get, the better chance you'll have of this little symbol popping up. Meaning that as soon as my turret goes down, which is about to, I have it instantly. You see, I already have it back. So there's never a downtime. And when you have a turret that can consistently come back and cause havoc like this on the field, this is going to work great in solo or in group play. It definitely will. Again, it's not the fastest. It's not if I was running an all red build or running a Hunter's Fury or a Striker build. But for skill build players who enjoy this type of games playstyle, it's going to be very effective because you can run this in solo or in group play. And that's what's cool about this. Now, one thing about the Caesar's Guard, I will tell you, you kind of have to only run one skill unless your other skill is going to put out a lot of damage. But again, the goal is to make sure when the Caesar's Guard's ready to proc, it procs on your turret, not on your other skill. So just something for you to keep in mind. But it's definitely something that I have found that I enjoy. As you can see, I still have it ready to go. As soon as this turret's ready to go down, it's going to be ready. So if you guys have been looking for a way to run this once the new season comes out, that's my recommendation. I already put out a video for it. This video was more to show you how effective this set can be. And I see a lot of people saying, oh, this set's not that good, but I honestly think it is. Now, could they tweak it a little bit? Yes, the devs could definitely tweak it a little bit, and I'm sure people gave some feedback. But I think once people get this in their hand and they start running this, you're probably going to see people running this in groups, especially if they're matchmaking. You probably have one person running this. One of my friends was actually running this in Legendary and said that they were having a blast with it. Could you imagine just putting all the enemies on fire, and then if you have 1 or 2 DPS players just melting everything that's running around and they can't shoot you? Look, these guys can literally not shoot when they're on fire. So imagine what it's going to do when you have this set up. So just something for you guys to keep in mind. And once the new season comes out, I'm sure people will test it, make versions of the build that they like for them, and they'll have fun with this. So I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. Appreciate the support, appreciate the love. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Remember, season 2 is set to kick off in October. We don't have an official date just yet, but I'll see you guys then. Nothing but skills out.